Ms. Wright, you talked about the plaintiff cutting your hours. You say here in your answer, when I didn't react the way that he wanted, he started to cut my shifts at work. That was what month?
Oh, I would say December, when it all kind of ended.
In the text messages dated December 19th, the plaintiff says, I would like to talk to you about several questions I have, like, are you moving out? Are you still wanting hours? You respond to him, I'm getting the girls back today. I've been working so much here. Where have you been working so much?
Up until that point, I had been. I was working 6 days a week at least.
So he was cutting your hours when, you said December. This
Like
is dated December 20th. You left 10 days later. When was he cutting your hours?
Within those 10 days. Like,
Between those
the last
10
like
days.
4 or 5 shifts that I had, he told me he didn't need me for.
You said, because he wouldn't let me keep my snake and because of his weird behavior towards me and my boyfriend, I decided to move out and start fresh. You gave me 10 days to be out. Maybe this will teach you not to kick out a single mother of 2 in the winter with 10 days to move. Did you voluntarily leave, like you stated in your answer, or did he kick you out?
Well, he gave me an ultimatum, so I guess technically I did move out, but he told me that I had 10 days to get out or get rid of the snake, so.
Okay, because in the answer you made it seem like you just were so tired of the way he was behaving.
And he was like really standoffish and disrespectful to my boyfriend every time he'd come over.
Okay.
Didn't ever even acknowledge existence. And
is this all your stuff when you moved out?
I don't know if that's when I
moved
out.
You can look. It's in front of you.
I don't think that's when I left, no. That might have been while I was there, and it did get cleaned up, but that's
what is
not
this a picture of? When did you take this?
That's me moving everything from her 4 rooms into 1 room.
Yeah, because
So
the
that I
living room
could
didn't look
pull
like
the
that.
carpet out that her dogs had ruined and do some different things while I was waiting for the 90 days till I could.
The carpet was
remove her
already
stuff.
pulled out.
And what am I looking at here?
That is one of the services I paid to remove her stuff after the 90 days was up.
Is this her couch?
Yes, ma'am.
He said he wanted to keep the
Ma'am?
couch and the table.
But is that yours?
He did get it for me, yes, from another friend.
This is all your stuff that you left behind.
Yes,
That's a lot of stuff, ma'am.
it is a lot of stuff.
Y'all had a conversation about her coming to the home to clear out her things in January, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she stood you up
Yes, ma'am.
twice.
At least.
Why?
I just wanted to be done with the whole situation.
So you don't think that you owe him rent for at least January, given how much stuff was at his place?
That I could understand.
Because you're kind of treating his home like a storage unit.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to open it up to my colleagues.
Just one other question. Was there a curfew attached to the defendant's living and your apartment?
There was no curfew. We had neighbors, both in their 80s, on each side of us. Holly Jo would self-admit that she's a very loud person. So I told her after 11 o'clock she couldn't be out in the front yard screaming and running around crazy, that we had to respect the neighbors. She called it a curfew. I didn't care when she was at the house or gone from the house, but I did care that she would have people over there loud and outside disrupting the neighborhood. And for the record, I've never saw or met her boyfriend that bought her the snake.
Okay.
That's all. No,
Great.
no other questions. Yeah.
Great. Okay, we'll excuse the parties while we deliberate in this case. Thank you both very much.
Mr. Hobson, Ms. Wright, we have deliberated and reached a unanimous verdict. Mr. Hobson, clearly you are entitled to something. The defendant left your property in a state that needed significant cleanup and left without any notice to you, virtually. We reviewed your calculations. We have no doubt there was time, labor, pain, and suffering, but it's not compensable here. The other issue that we had was keeping the defendant's belongings on the premises instead of doing something like moving them to a storage unit that would have been far less expensive than giving up 4 full months of rent. When you're damaged, you have a duty to mitigate damages, which is to keep your damages to a minimum. Nonetheless, even had you moved them to a storage unit, you would have incurred some fees. So for that reason, we determined that it was appropriate to give you 2 of the 4 months of rent. We also gave you all of the fees associated with rekeying the locks, and we gave you all of the fees associated with junk removal and dump fees. We didn't have sufficient evidence of the damages to the home, so we couldn't award you that. If you add up the 2 months of rent, rekeying costs, and all of the junk removal and dump fees, it comes out to $1,885. So the verdict today is in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,885, and we wish you both the best moving forward.